evening. Welcome to Leicester Fan TV. It's Monday night. My name's Phil. If you're watching this live, don't forget you can join us. You can click on and give us your comments live, or you can click on the link and come on camera and tell me exactly what you think about what's going on at Leicester. Obviously, we are now under 2 weeks away from the big kickoff against Sheffield Wednesday at home, and next Sunday is the final and probably the biggest and toughest pre-season match for Leicester at home against Fiorentina. Looking forward to that a little bit. And of course, transfers, it's starting to kick off a little bit. Mads Hermansen off to West Ham. Bilal El-Khanous, seeing he might go to Crystal Palace, just makes me feel really sick that that is what could happen. So there's lots and lots of things to talk about. Should Connor Cody go, etc., etc. We want your views. We want your comments in the next 30 minutes.
The Leicester City machine is on the march again.
Leicester Fan TV presents a variety of content like fan discussions, match analysis, and engaging with Leicester fans worldwide. We want your views live, thanks to our sponsors, Everard's, Pucker Pies, Hologram, Take Me, Newbie & Co, and the Fox's Arms.
Want to watch more content like this? Hit the like button. Give us your views. Hit subscribe to Leicester Fan TV and make sure to follow Leicester Fan TV on all socials.
Yes, good evening. Welcome. Yes, it's Monday night. We're live for the next 30 minutes. And we want your views. We want your comments. What do you want to talk about? It's me and you tonight. I want to know everything that you're thinking about Leicester City. Are you happy at the moment? Are you feeling positive? Are you feeling good about the season coming up? Or are you still slightly scratching your heads, wondering who's going to go and who's going to come in? Let's get as many comments on screen as we can. Dawn says, good evening. Hope you're well, Dawn. Let me know your views, Dawn, on what's going on at Leicester. What did you think to the pre-season matches on Friday, Dawn? Richie, hope you're well, Richie. I know Richie's obviously a big Leicester fan. Hope you're doing well, Richie. Feeling better after all that you've been through. Richie, what do you make about the pre-season? Has it been a good one? I was a bit worried that the first time we played a half-decent side, and I don't think they were that good, Cologne, on Friday, but we kind of looked a bit like, I don't want to say a bit of a mess, but we kind of looked a bit like we did in some of the games last year in the Premier League, I thought. So I thought that wasn't the best second game. And if you listen to Marty Cifuentes' post-match interview on Radio Leicester, he wasn't exactly singing praises either, and I think he was looking for a lot more. Tony, good evening. Tony says 13 days to go and no one in or out. One new signing in 2025, and the bloke is nowhere near the side. Talking about Koulibaly, yeah, doesn't get anywhere near really the first team. He's played a little bit of pre-season, hasn't he, Tony? But who do you think, Tony, is going to come? And firstly, who do you think is going to go? A lot of people will probably be saying, let's get rid of Connor Cody, let's get rid of Vestergaard, let's get rid of Wout Faes. They're on big bucks. I keep saying it, Daka. I can't think many people are going to come in and sign them. There's a lot of talk of Cody potentially going to Rangers, but if we're led to believe what is out there is Connor Cody's on 90 grand a week. Rangers aren't going to pay anything like that, and Connor Cody's not going to walk out on a contract at Leicester when he's not going to get the same sort of money. So it's going to be a difficult one. Mary, good evening to you. Hope you're well. What's your views on Leicester City? Richie says we do need to get rid of the Deadwood players on big money. They're the toughest players to get rid of, Richie. They really are the toughest players. And just before I went live tonight, I'm reading stuff about Bilal El-Khanous being wanted by, well, we know he's wanted by a few teams, but the latest one really makes me feel, just breathe a big sigh of sadness that Crystal Palace want to buy Bilal El-Khanous. And you just think, how have we gone from where we were just 2 or 3 seasons ago to this, where Crystal Palace are going to come and poach players from us? Mads Hermansen, rumours are that he's off to West Ham. And some of these are the young talents. Mads Hermansen, Bilal El-Khanous, really, they're the players that we would all want to keep because they're quality and they're young and they're hungry. But they're the ones that are probably going to go. And we're going to be left with people like Yannick Vestergaard. Did you see Vestergaard, by the way, for the first goal on Friday in the second game against Cologne? I just thought Vestergaard looked at his absolute worst when they scored that first goal. He was so slow. It was like he watched them go by with the ball. And I've got to be honest, I'm going to call it, he looked like he didn't really care. that was my take on Yannick Vestergaard on Friday. I don't know. Again, the club don't talk to us and tell us what's going on. I don't know why Yannick Vestergaard's not been really involved pre-season. I don't know if he's been injured or not. Obviously, he didn't play the last 3 months of the season because we're led to believe he fell out with Ruud van Nistelrooy. But where has Vestergaard been, and why did he look just couldn't be bothered at all, if you ask me, on Friday? Keith, thank you very much for that. It's very kind. Dawn says the only decent we played and we lost well, I think is what Dawn's trying to say in there. Yeah, absolutely. I thought that as well. First team we played, and I think they were really average. I don't know what, it's hard to know. I think they're Bundesliga B or something. They go up to the main Bundesliga. So it's kind of like, they're sort of, I mean, the main Bundesliga is not as tough as the Premier League. So they're probably, you probably argue they're a similar level to us, maybe a little bit better, maybe a little bit worse. I wouldn't have said a lot better. We just look poor. We look poor. Another thing about the pre-season friendlies, they were sort of all cloaked in, we didn't even know these games were going on until about a week ago. And you kind of think there would have been a few Leicester fans would have fancied a trip out there, have a few days away, go and watch a Leicester game in a foreign country. But they just didn't give anybody time to get out there. That's me. I feel a bit, I don't want to moan because I'm trying to be positive. Good evening, Andy. Hope you well. Don't forget, if anybody wants to come on camera, you can do tonight. It's open. We're doing like an open mic one tonight. You can get your comments in. And of course, you can get your click on the link if you want. Michael, that is exactly what I felt like in that second game. We looked exactly like last season. And I kind of want a lot more than that. We kind of look the same. Not much ideas going forward. Not much ideas in defence. It wasn't a good. That's the first time I've been trying to build myself up for this season and get positive. We got a new manager, But I looked at that and I went, yeah, there's some players. I mean, what did you guys think about Vestergaard? I just thought, wow, he looks like a guy literally being paid a lot of money and just not putting any shift in there. Mary says here, did my Fox membership last week? I'm ready for it. Let's be positive. I agree. I am trying to be positive, but we'll keep it real as well. Dawn also says here, yeah, Dawn, honestly, we do. We're going to have to shift some players out, aren't we? But if we need a striker, again, Andy says the same. We need a striker in there. Asmir Beggars. I've been struggling to say his name. If you watch, we did a daily live earlier. I can't say his name. Begovic. There we go. Get it, a Begovic. It's like, I need to sound like a dog. Signs for us on a 1-year contract. We were discussing, Richie, whether Begovic would or could or should be or not be the number one goalie. I think it should be. Well, to be fair, for Manson's around, for me, it's a Manson in goal. But assuming he's gone, because we've got to cash in, I think, Stolicic is where it will be. Yes. Let me know your views on that. Elkanus out, Char in, says armchair jockey in there. Wax Lyrical says we need a new striker ASAP. We do. They're not easy to find strikers, but we will need to find one. All of those, says Jane, who I mentioned, need to go. Yeah, they won't though. Vestergaard won't go. Daka won't go. I think Winks, if Winks can have a season like he did in the Championship before, then Winks can stay. But, Connor Cody, again, if Cody could step up and be this big leader that he's meant to be, but just doesn't seem to want to happen. Tony says, I thought Cody and Vestergaard, by the way, on Friday in the second game just looked poor, really poor. Tony says, other teams we know are desperate, needing to sell before we're going to buy. Some low ball offers at the end of the window. Yeah, is that what's going to happen, Tony? It's going to be all... I mean, the window doesn't shut till September the 1st. And obviously the first game's kick off on what ours is August the 9th, 10th, isn't it? Against Sheffield Wednesday. You'd just like to make us get some signings in before that. Andy says, is Mads going to West Ham? Well, there's a lot of chat, a lot of rumours. It looks like that is where he's going to go for about 20 million. And again, I've seen some Leicester fans saying, Mads Manson is worth 40 million pounds. We shouldn't let him go for any less. He's not really, let's be honest, guys. Mads Manson's not done that much really as a keeper. He had a good Championship season and had a good first 12 games last season. Very good first game. And then obviously had his injury and completely dropped off. Keith says, problem is most of them are on high salaries and are crap at the same time. So teams can't pay the amount since they're not worth it. Yeah, I mean, what level is Vestergaard at the moment? Michael says that's right. That's how far we've fallen. I think talking about Bilal El Khanous and going off to Crystal Palace in there. Craig says here, get forward in now. Cody needs to go. Where's he going to go, Craig? That's the trouble. You're going to need somebody to pay him 90 grand a week. I genuinely think we couldn't give away some of these players. I don't think you could give them away because nobody's going to pay that sort of money in there. Let's try and force them out. Fan power, says Michael. Yeah, I don't want to force anybody out the club, Michael. I still say if we've got Patson Daka in the squad next season, I hope he comes good. I keep saying it. I don't think he will, but I hope he does come good because we want him to do well for us. If Patson Daka proves us all wrong for a season and scores 20 goals, brilliant. I want him to. I don't think he will, but I'd love it if he did. Hermansen for 20 million, though. Teams must be rubbing their hands to do business with us, always getting swindled. I don't know. I think 20 millions for a keeper is a lot of money, even in today's world, Keith. And he had showed that he could probably do it in the Premier League for 12, 14 games before he got injured. But when he came back, he didn't look very good. Tony says West Ham are also looking at the keeper at the Blades in there. We've gone back 10 years, says Wayne. I think we've gone back maybe more, Wayne, because in 10 years, this is the 10th anniversary of the 2015-2016 season. It feels like we've gone back maybe to 2012, maybe. I don't know. We had impetus there because we lost to Watford. I know it sounds daft, but we came back stronger. It kind of feels like, you know, Crystal Palace want to buy our players. West Ham want to buy. Where's the Leicester from four years ago where we were buying? We were not only competing with, we were bigger and better than Crystal Palace. We were definitely competing with West Ham and Everton for signings. We were bringing these players in, and now just, you know, a championship season, a rubbish season last year, and back in the championship, and suddenly we are teams like, you know, Kiernan Dewsbury Hall left us to go to Chelsea, and he's won 2 cups, and fair play to him, but they're on about he's going to Fulham. And again, so you sort of look at that and go, yeah, our players are now teams like Fulham, Crystal Palace, West Ham. These are the sorts of teams, Brentford, that want to come and buy our players and push them on. Ian says here, thanks for watching him, by the way. He says, can't see any players coming in this window. We're going to have to, I think, but need to cut the squad. We have put 33 pro contract numbers, need to be 25 at the moment. Otherwise, we'll breach a PSR again. I think, listen, Ian, I'm no expert on that. I think I'm right in saying if you've got academy players and they're under an age, then they don't have to be registered in that 25. I think I'm right in that. There are some little tweaks and rules, which is why it's always good to have academy players or players who've been through your academy, because therefore they don't have to actually register as a 25. Somebody put in the comments if I'm right or if I'm wrong, but I think there is a workaround like that. I'm just give me 1 second. You're not going to believe this. I forgot to plug in the computer, the laptop. I'm such an idiot. It's right there. Give me count to 3. I'll be back. There we go. Live on air. Tell us to plug in the computer. What a moron. Patrick says, and this is something, I had a chat in the office earlier about this. Patrick says here, the team that played in Singapore Veterans Competition, better than ours now. There are players in that, which it's like chalk and cheese, Patrick, isn't it? The players who are in that, obviously a lot are from the 2016 sort of era, Wes Morgan, Danny Drinkwater. But there's players in there, even like Lloyd. I think Lloyd Dyer went, didn't he? And you kind of think, to have somebody like Lloyd Dyer playing for us this season. But listen, I'm not being negative. Again, you know, there are. Let's look at some of the positives that are in there. Don't forget, I'm going to post out the link now. If anybody wants to keep putting your comments in, we'll keep getting them in there. If anybody wants to come on and give us your views, then that's fine. Scott says here, how long's Ricardo injured for? It was a funny one on Friday because it was sort of like, where's Ricardo, where's Victor Christensen, and where's Mavadidi? And nobody, again, they don't come out very clearly. And I listened to the interview with Marty Cifuentes after the match with Owen from BBC Radio Leicester. And he asked these questions, and Marty's response was kind of vague, as in he didn't really say where they were, apart from to say the medical team had told him that they weren't really available. So but I kind of think, I don't know, maybe the manager should know exactly what's up with Mavididi and where Ricardo is and Victor Christensen. Even down to I know he's new here, but I always think the manager should have a finger on the pulse and be saying, right, yeah, exactly. Mavididi's got a calf injury. He's out for 6 days, but he's doing light training, whatever. But he maybe he didn't want to say what it was, but it's interesting in there what's going on with some of that. El Chico says, I've heard a lot from your fans. He was good until he got injured. Please enlighten. What injury did he have? How bad was he after that? El Chico, and I'm looking at your profile picture there. You look like you're a West Ham fan. So let's help El Chico out. Maybe we can help. I don't know. I would still keep Hermansen at Leicester if we can, although if we can get 20 million, I'd be happy enough with that. I mean, put in the comments what your views are on Mads Hermansen. Clearly had a great championship season for us when we came up with over 100 points. And he was, I think he was keeper of the month back last October or September. He had a great start in the Premier League. And to be fair, he was a big part of why, under Steve Cooper, with Mads Hermansen playing well, we were picking up some points here and there. But then when he got injured, he didn't really come back from injury again. He did come back, but he was nowhere near the player. And I have heard that he's had this injury on and off for quite a while. So might be that it's a reoccurring injury and something that's, going to blight him. But let us know what you think to him. Ricardo will be injured until he goes to another club, says Michael. Again, I've got to be honest, Michael, I think Ricardo is one of those players that if he hadn't had his injuries, could have gone on to play at a very, very high level, certainly European player. I don't think I think most teams will look at Ricardo Pereira and just go, yeah, he's too injury prone. He's not worth the money or the contract. So I think Ricardo will definitely be here. I know there was talk from his agent that he wanted to go, but I don't think he will, because I don't think anybody will take him up on it. Is Christensen leaving the club, says Andy? Well, I assume, Andy, he won't want to play Championship, because last time when we went down to the Championship with probably a better team than this one, he wanted a loan and he went off to, was it Bologna? So he went off, didn't want to be there. So I'll be surprised if he wants to be in the Championship this season. And kind of, he probably can play at a Europa level, a Europa Conference level, something like that, and those sorts of teams. We need to be realists, says Tony. We were crap last season and we've lost Vardy and brought no one in. It's not a good look. I think, Tony, I think that's kind of fair enough. If we're going into this season not realising that we've had Jamie Vardy for the last 11 years and you need to replace him. Even you can't replace him with anybody anywhere near as good as Jamie Vardy. But to think last season we had Jamie Vardy, we had Ayew, and we had Patson Daka. To go into this season with just Ayew and Patson Daka, even in the Championship, I think is bonkers. And put it in the comments by all means, but some people say we've got Jake Evans. I hope he goes on to have a great career, but the lad's proven nothing yet. Not scored a goal at the highest level. Who knows? He's a young lad. I don't want to heap a whole load of, we need Jake Evans to come good next season. A club like Leicester need to go and buy a striker or loan one in or get a freebie. Get somebody who needs a transfer in. That's what we need. But to not have a striker in place at this stage, I mean, I don't know. I just think relying on Jake Evans is far, far, far too silly in there. Dawn says Daka is tripe. Anyone having trouble downloading the season ticket to mobile wallet, says Patrick. No, Patrick, I've not even tried it yet. I need to do it. I'm like, you're going to have to do it. And I love the fact we all paid 25 quid for our plastic cards last year, and this year they've just made you do it anyway. Armchair Jockey says here, listen, this I think we could have a little chat on. He says, or she says, Armchair Jockey, I don't know. Looks like we need Vardy back. Jamie Vardy has not signed for anybody yet. I think some of you will think it would be a mistake to have Jamie Vardy back, which it may be. So put in the comments if you think it would be a mistake and why. But there's got to be a bit of you thinking, do you know what? If I've got a choice between Ayew, Daka, Jake Evans, I'll chuck into the mix, or having Jamie Vardy back in next season's championship, I know which one of those four I would take. And I think Jamie Vardy does come with some baggage because I think he is a bit of live wire in the changing rooms, which you could say is good or bad. But if Jamie Vardy still lives in Leicestershire, his kids are all at school age, so they'll all be at school and settled. So if you ask me, Jamie Vardy will want to play for a club with about an hour of where he lives. I think he lives out near Rutland somewhere. So Leicester would still be one of the teams he could play for. And it would be almost a bit weird to say, oh, come back. You know, we did all that goodbye Vardy and do all that, but we kind of did it the season before anyway. There was tifos for Vardy. There was all this the season before, and then he had one more season. If it was me, if Jamie Vardy was listening to what I was saying, which he won't be, or watching anything, I would welcome Jamie Vardy back for one more year. Obviously, wages would have to be right. Leicester can't be silly and pay 140 grand a week. But if Jamie Vardy came back and went, do you know what? For the love of Leicester, for the love of playing football, I'll come and play for 20, 30, 40 grand a week, and Leicester can afford that. Why not? Honestly, why not? Because you're not going to find, even if you paid 50 grand a week for Jamie Vardy times 50 weeks, that's £2.5 million. I don't think you're going to find a better player than Jamie Vardy for £2.5 million who can score goals for us in the Championship. That's what I think. Michael says Jamie Vardy lives in Lincolnshire. I think he lives in Rutland, but I'm probably wrong, Michael. You're probably right in there. Ian says Vardy's holding out for wages that we can't afford anymore. Maybe, but listen, the season's getting very close. And I actually thought Jamie Vardy would get not snapped up, but I thought maybe somebody like a Man U or an Everton or a West Ham or somebody, a Villa, would say, do you know what, we'll have Jamie Vardy. I didn't know if Villa or even Forest, I don't think you can play for Forest, but somebody who's in Europe, one of the Europa Leagues, would say, do you know what, we'll have Jamie Vardy to be on our bench and he can play in Europe for us. Mary says he lives up near Newark. Thank you. I've obviously got it wrong. I thought it was in Rutland, but it matters not. Yeah, Richie says Leicester City need to go into the free market for a striker. Yeah, free agent, I agree. Well, that's why I say Vardy could do that one. Scott says here, apparently Vardy learned all offensive things to say to opposing players. Shithousery at its finest. Well, we know he wound up lots of players in there. Michael says, I know his address. Sounds a bit stalkerish, Michael. Don't tell anybody. Nobody needs to know. But fair enough, if you know where he actually lives, go and knock on the door. Jamie, if you've not signed up for anybody, can you come and play for Leicester, please? Vardy and Rudkin do not get on. Yeah, well, I think we saw that several times after Vardy told him some home truths on how the club has gone downhill. I agree, but I don't know. I'm still interested to know. Just put in the comments. We've got a lot of people watching live. Just say Vardy yes or Vardy no. Let me just see it. I'll put a few up on screen and we'll get a bit of a feel. For me, I would have Jamie Vardy back for one more season as it stands because at the moment we don't have anybody else. Really. I mean, I was watching that second game on Friday and I was kind of playing out on the wings. It was a bit, the second game I thought we're going to put out our strongest team and this is where we start to see what the team looks like. And it kind of on Friday, I mean, the first game, what were your thoughts on the first game? Because I was, again, if they're going to put these games on YouTube and I'm going to say, fans, watch it. Here you go. Here's a pre-season friendly. Not that it really matters, but I was kind of embarrassed watching it because it genuinely looked like somebody had stuck a camera on a live feed up at, Shepshed High School or Braunston School. It was like a school pitch. It was sort of like, I don't know. You look you look at other teams playing pre-season friendlies, and it wasn't even the quality of the opposition, although I don't think they were anything great. But you kind of look and you go, other teams like Stoke are playing Liverpool, and there's been pick lots of examples where teams are playing other proper teams and not at what looked like a school playing fields. I thought it was really, really strange on Friday to do that. Two games in one day and like 3 hours apart in Germany. Just sort of felt like, I don't know who organised that. It didn't feel like great planning. And then, like I say, the second game, you sort of thought it's in a stadium and against a better side. We're going to put what looks more like the first team out there. But it was a bit strange, I thought. So Vardy, no, says Richie. Vardy, no, says Wayne. Dawn says yes in a heartbeat. Ian says yes. Andy says yes. Richie says no. Tony says yes. Armchair Jockey says yes in there. Yeah, Michael says he lives in Rutland. That's why I said, Michael, he lives in Rutland anyway. Yeah, so a bit split there in there. Ian's saying, what about Evans? I know. Listen, Ian, I know. But what is he? He's just 16. Look, if you're old enough, you're good enough, blah, blah, blah. But I've not seen anything much of Evans where I go, wow, this kid's like got it and he's going to be lethal in front of goal. I know he scored a few goals under 21s levels, but you won't know till we see it. But he's had a bit of time now, so I don't know in there. Tony says we've played pub teams till Friday afternoon. I have to kind of agree. I know Peterborough Town is all right, but it was a pre-season thing. OH Leven is not a high level. The team then we played Friday morning. I have no idea what about them, but it didn't look good. And then suddenly Friday afternoon we play somebody like bang average, and we suddenly looked a mess again. Richie says give the youth a chance. I 100% with you, Richie. 100% with you. Although it will be a strange one if we've got loads of experience, all being paid 70, 80, 90,000 pounds a week, and you're playing 16-year-old lads. Great if they pull it off, but if they don't, a manager won't wait long when he's got Ayew. If he's got a choice between shall I start Ayew Evans up top, Richie, he's going to pick Ayew because his job's on the line. And the same. I'm going to be interested to see about Nelson, where when the choice comes down to it, will the manager go for Nelson or will he go for Cody or Fies or Vestergaard or Okoli? Because 4 out of those 5 were like relatively big money spendings on big wages. And you've got to be very brave as a manager to go, well, I've got, who should have put as centre-back? Should have put Vestergaard, who's has been a Danish international, got 12 years, 15 years, European Premier League experience. Wow, Fies, who plays for Belgium international level. Should I go for Connor Cody, who's a leader, talks a good game, always doing a podcast here and there, played for England, played for Everton, or should I pick Ben Nelson, who played sort of 3/4 of a season well for Oxford, who was struggling in the Championship last season? Hopefully, Cifuentes is brave and picks the players who are on form, but it's not always where it is. Keith said Suter. I have no idea where Suter is. You've said it right there, Keith. Suter, question mark. Where's Suter? I haven't even thought about. I mean, obviously, we bought him the season we were getting relegated for 15 million. And then he's been off on loan. I have no ideas, Keith. He's just one of those players, isn't he? Who you go, oh, yeah, do you remember that Suter? Do you know what, Keith? I'm going to go one more than I don't know where he is. I can't even remember his first name. I mean, I haven't got stats to my fingers, Keith, but he's got to have only played 10, 11 games for us in two and a half years, but I can't remember his first name. I can't remember where he is. He's just one of those players. We seem to have a few of these things where you go, where is he? I mean, it was a bit like, oh God, my brain's gone to absolute jelly with your Suter thing in there. Out till December. Who's that? Long-term injury. Oh, Suter. This is Patrick. Thank you. Long-term injury. Oh, well, there you go. Mary says it's not about how much a player is, it's what they do on the pitch. Agreed. 100%, Mary. I know that, but it will be people like Jake Evans, Monga, Ben Nelson. They'll be on relatively very, very small wages compared to these well-established, well-known players on 70, 80, 90,000. And it will at some point, if the young lads are playing and doing well, and maybe the older ones just don't care, they're taking the money. I don't know, but normally this does take out a little bit of causes some weirdness in the dressing room. Suter's out till the new year. I don't even know how he got injured because he hasn't played for us in so long. He's going to turn into be another absolute waste of time, isn't it? Leicester City fans all get behind Marty Cifuentes. Richie, I think we all are. I think, like we said, the appointment of Marty meant that I think most people know that little about him that you're going, well, if you'd have had Sean Dyche, there'd have been a half a crowd going, oh, I don't want Sean Dyche. If you'd have had Danny Roll, there'd have been half the crowd going, oh, I don't want him. I know about him a bit. But this guy, listen, I think everybody is backing him. I've not heard anybody say he's not up for it. You give him the chance and see how it is. Just see what happens there. He's selling pies at the ground, talking about Suter in there. We might as well get him doing something. If you're paying his wages, you might as well do something. It's Harry. Of course, it's Harry Suter. Thank you, William. Thank you, Mark. Honestly. And Keith. Honestly, I just had a real... Do you never have a brain meltdown where you go, what the hell? What the hell? I don't know. I watched a video that was on the official socials of Leicester City, and it was Muzzy Is It with his top 5 goals. I don't know if you've seen the video, but I was like, I remember every one in absolute minuscule detail, in slow-mo, fast forward, whatever. I remember all 5 goals, and then I can't remember Harry Suter's first name. That's how it goes, isn't it? Ian says Suter dropped his wallet on his foot. That's the life of a modern-day footballer. Listen, we're ramping things up here on Leicester Fan TV over the next week or so, building back up to the start of the big championship season. We are, as Richie says, getting in that mood where you've got to just back the lads. You've got to start getting G'd up, looking forward to it. Are you looking forward to the pre-season friendly? I'm not riled up, but I'm starting to get there for it, and I'm definitely starting to look forward to the Sheffield Wednesday game. If they can muster a team up, if you read what's going on at Sheffield Wednesday, it might make you feel better about what's going on at Leicester. They may not even be able to get a team out against us. They've got that much rubbish going on in their background. So listen, over the next couple of weeks, we've got lots of content starting to reboot back up now that the season's on. We're doing a new daily debate, which will be me, Reedy, Sam and Jake every day, roughly around lunchtime, but we'll be just going live for about 10, 15, 20 minutes just to have a chat about whatever the hot topic is on that day. We've got the Fox's Focus every Thursday is back now, 7:30 with Simon and Jono, so make sure you join them. And, of course, we've got the famous Aftermath show on Sunday mornings at 9:30, hosted by Jamie Reedy at the moment, while Jamie, the amazing Jamie from the Fox's Arms, is busy. Have you been out there and had a pint with Jamie? Send us your photos. We've got this competition with Pucker Pies that we're going to launch tomorrow. We should have done it last week, but which is about sending us your photos wearing your Leicester shirt. Obviously not the new one because they haven't launched it yet. Oh, God, I'm off again. They've not launched a new shirt. There's no sponsors. Moan. Insert moaning here from Phil. New shirt. Moan. No sponsors. Moan. Insert. You do my talking for you. Yes. Mary's just said, how does everyone feel about the new home shirt? No sponsor on it. I'm about as underwhelmed, Mary, by the new shirt, how they launched it, how it looks as ever you could be. I think if you're going to try and get like 80 quid out my wallet to buy that this season, you're going to have to do some hard selling, and they haven't done it yet. I've been on holiday, didn't get a shirt to wear. Like to do that. When are they actually going to allow fans to buy it? This Sunday for the following game? I don't know. Are we going to start the season, Mary, with no sponsor's name on the shirt? Other teams it's happened to. Is that what's happening? And again, they don't tell us what's going on. We're just having to guess, aren't we? Richie says 4-0 to Leicester in Sunday's game. Well, Richie, listen, we'll hold you to that, mate, because next Monday we will know, because Fiorentina are the first proper side we've played in pre-season. They are definitely better than us, or should be. They're definitely better than us. And I believe I'm right in saying they play Forest as well. I don't know if they play Forest before or after us, but they play Forest. And funny enough, I was driving up yesterday from Silverstone and we were driving along and we saw the Fiorentina bus, big purple thing with Fiorentina across the side. We videoed it, we shared it. A lot of you will have seen it, but I know they're playing Forest. So we'll be able to see a little bit more by next Monday where we are, because they're a proper side. They're better than us. So if we can get a draw, get a result against them, then we'll be doing all right on there. Nick says just get Walkers on the front. It kind of makes sense, doesn't it? Where are we there? Just there's companies like Walkers, there's companies like Pucker, there's companies even like Everard's who are Leicester business. There's companies out there who would pay. They've only got so much budget, but they would pay. And I know as fans, we want Leicester to get as much as they are, but what is going on? They've kind of known that we were getting relegated from, I don't know, February, March time. So whatever's gone on should have been worked out in there. Back to losses on Sunday would be a worry with a week left till the first game of the season to some Leicester fans who don't really usually mess around. Pre-season's pre-season. It's about getting systems in place, starting to get people to know each other. There's going to be a lot of comings and going, Keith, before the season kicks off. That's my take on it, is there's going to be 4 or 5 out, and then they're going to have to get in 2 or 3 in. I don't think we're going to replace like for like, because I think we are going to use the youngsters. Pretty clear. Anyway, listen, thanks for all your views and all your comments tonight. I'll see you next Monday, but don't forget, every day now, the Daily Debate. Join me, Reedy, Sam, Jake. We'll have a chat every day about whatever you want to chat about and whatever the big topic is. So I'll see you tomorrow morning for another chat. See you later.
The Leicester City machine is on the march again.
Leicester Fan TV presents a variety of content like fan discussions, match analysis, and engaging with Leicester fans worldwide. We want your views live, thanks to our sponsors, Everard's, Pucker Pies, Hologram, Take Me, Newbie & Co, and the Fox's Arms.
Want to watch more content like this? Hit the like button. Give us your views. Hit subscribe to Leicester Fan TV and make sure to follow Leicester Fan TV on all socials.